Hey, look! There's the cornerstone of light!
What's going on? Everything's black and white.
Deja vu?
Really? Have you been here before?
Hey, you! Seen any bad guys around here? Why, you oughta... Nah, I don't have time to waste on punks like you, so I guess I'll go easy on ya.
Well, there's our villain.
Yes, I agree. Welcome, everybody. This is Solidus-Skully of the 1930s, and welcome to the classical land of cartoons. And, no, I'm not going to do that the whole time. Though I was kind of planning to, because, well, we're on a whole nother side of the Disney world, and, actually, probably, I'd say my favorite part of Disney Castle, because this is technically two worlds in one. One is, Disney Castle, like you saw before, and now we have Timeless River. Basically a throwback to the early days of Disney cartoons, where people didn't wear pants and were quite comfortable flashing their penis all over the land, and, as you can see here with this cow, dear god woman, put a fucking shirt on. Watching those bloody cow titties flopping about everywhere. But, no, this is pretty much, yeah, classical Disney cartoons with a bunch of characters that I don't recognize because I didn't grow up with any of this stuff, I have never seen them, and, yeah, we have giant cockatoo or rooster and a cow thing and fucking whatever else. And we also have the side of Disney Castle yet to be built. The cornerstone of light is still there. And this is basically the first instance of time travel. And it certainly won't be the last. Dear fuckity goodness. Although, I will say it is at least slightly more comprehensible. I mean, for one thing, in terms of time travel, yes, you are pretty much in the past, but it's only connected to 2 points. Namely, the Cornerstone of Light and, well, the point before Disney Castle was built. And as we're seeing here with the old-fashioned Pete, who's in the past and not working for Maleficent, yes, indeed, things seem to be quite bizarre here in the 1930s. He seems to be working for a power that is not of our origin. But yeah, to kind of go into... well, a lot of other things here. Not only do Donald and Goofy take on their classical Disney cartoon appearances, with Donald looking a lot more friendly than he usually does, but I also really like what they did with Sora as well. Like, I mean, they pretty much gave him like a classic, like, 1960s sort of Osamu Tezuka, like, anime kind of look, and, yeah, like, I mean, it's very simplified in terms of design, but, I don't know, it looks really charming and, of the era. So, yeah. And you might also be noticing that they've also adapted him into his Kingdom Hearts 1 look, so, yeah. This world is very heavy on its aesthetics, and it pulls them off quite succinctly.
What's with you, squirts? You got some kind of bone to pick with me?
More than one.
Them's fighting words. Huh?
Not so fast.
Yeah, to kind of spoil things a little bit early on here, first of all, I love that detail of steam coming out of his steamboat hat. But yeah, this isn't the Pete as we knew him beforehand. I mean, he doesn't have any of the Heartless, he doesn't have any of the same tricks that Pete Classic used to have, because he has yet to learn his abilities. I mean, really, he's just kind of running around like a headless chook, so, yeah, it's kind of a bit useless, really. Well, not that Pete is really much of a threat to begin with, but he kinda sucks. But he ain't our villain.
What you mugs beef with me anyway? Who are you? You new around here?
Cut the act.
Whoa!
You know, something doesn't seem quite right here. Are you sure you're Pete?
Well, of course I'm Pete. I'm the captain of the steamboat, so stop bothering me, see? So hit the road. I gotta go find the little runt what stole my boat.
Gosh, maybe we made a mistake.
I'm starting to think the same thing. He hasn't even called any Heartless.
Sorry we attacked you like that, Captain Pete.
Oh, yeah? Well, if you're really sorry, then go find my steamboat.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my hickin' back.
By the way, I also really love the fact that they also put like a... I don't know the specific name for it, but they basically put a voice filter on all the characters' voices as well as on all the sound effects to give it that sort of classic, you know, that classic AM radio kind of feel, and it works quite nicely along with the monochrome feel of the world. Again, it makes Timeless River like a very charming level to play through, and it's really because of their attention to detail, not only in terms of translating the classic, well, what I assume to be areas based on classic Disney cartoons, but also for just being a real charming place. I don't know, I quite enjoy it. It's, homely. And again, when I was talking about time travel earlier on, I wasn't being idle about that, because as we're soon going to be seeing here, yes indeed, the Heartless have wormed their way into this realm, and, well, yeah. We're going to be seeing scenes of before the gang got here. We have 4 doors, and, well, we're going to travel through what I assume to be meant to be like pastiches to classic Mickey Mouse shorts from the past. At least I think so, anyway. I mean, it would make the most sense, given that they were basically like 10 to 11 minute shorts that you could pretty much watch. If that even. But yeah, this all happened shortly before they got here, so time travel shenanigans be crazy. Which is kind of weird, actually, because, I mean, as I mentioned before, Kingdom Hearts would continue to experiment with time travel, but they usually had a very controlled set of rules. What rules they are, I'll get into when we get to Birth by Sleep, because, again, it is... Again, like, I mean, if there's one thing I will say about Dream Drop Distance and time travel, they do lay out the rules, and they do stick to them relatively well. Well, at least if, well, I mean, at least if Union Cross is to be believed in terms of... You know, I'll get into that a little bit later, but the point is, it's made a lot more simplified here. It's basically a connection from one point in the past to one point in the present, and just sort of jumping to and fro between these 2 points in time. But anyway, that's a little bit irrelevant to what we have to do today, because now we pretty much have to go through these 4 worlds, fight out the Heartless, and pretty much see what Mickey was up to during these days, where he was pretty much just carefree, running about, and not really giving a fuck. So, yeah. He's also the one character that doesn't have voice lines in this world. I mean, he does in the modern era, but in these older shorts, I guess maybe he's more true to the original character, or he's just a little bit rambunctious, getting into trouble, and just being a cheeky little fellow. I don't know. But anyway, the basic setup is basically go through the worlds, fight through a couple of Heartless, and, continue to get little clips similar to the one that you saw beforehand, and you'll basically get more of the story as to what's going on, why there was a bit of a mix-up with Pete, and why that poor man has a life preserver Cheerio stuck in his head. I'm pretty sure some of these characters come back in Birth by Sleep, I think, but Birth by Sleep's version of the Disney world is a little bit pish. Now let's go down to the wharf. Don't even know why it was a question mark when we know it's the wharf. Like Canary Wharf, or Torchwood 1. Yeah, we'll be back here much later to pretty much pick up puzzle pieces, but I figured I might as well give you the $10 tour of the classical 1930s Disney World. And I will say though, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure the Japanese team in Square Enix is pretty close to faithful, since they do have communication with, you know, a lot of the original properties that they work on, but... Again, their level of detail with Timeless River is fucking immaculate. Also, with the little egg Heartless, you actually have access to one of Sora's old moves, the dodge roll. Something that initially wasn't available until you got Limit Form in Final Mix, but yeah, it kind of makes itself a bit more of a useless ability, since you also have a replacement ability with one of the other drive forms that we get a little bit later on. So, actually, yeah, I think it's right after Disney World, actually. Disney World? No, right after Disney Castle. Disney World! But anyway, aside from the $10 tour, it's pretty much going to be getting to the action good and proper. And I'm running out of trivia, so before we get to the correct point in time, I think it's about time we also go back to the 1930s and talk about a little Christopher Lee trivia. Let's see, need something a little bit simple. You know what, here's something for a bit of an ironic twist. Let's talk about the Looney Tunes for a brief second. And basically, Christopher... excuse me. Basically, Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, who were actually rather good friends due to the Hammer Horror Association, they were fans of the Looney Tunes cartoons back when they were shown in theaters. Often as, shorts before movies, because, that was something they used to do back then. Don't think they do that anymore, which is kind of sad. But yeah, apparently they used to laugh so loud at these movie shorts they actually got kicked out of the cinemas because they were laughing too much, which... I mean, given the fact that it's, Van Helsing and Count Dracula laughing as best buds, that is incredibly sweet, very wholesome, and, it just makes me smile. Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. The truly best friends, and Peter Cushing himself, actually, contrary to a lot of his horror roles that, well, while he wasn't a fan of the genre, did usually put in 110%, actually an incredibly nice guy. So, yeah, incredibly sweet how nice people do horror things while people who otherwise do nice things are horrible people.
Gee, he seems kind of different somehow.
Come on, we've got to help him.
So now we are on a hunt for the king! Where we basically gotta kill the Heartless and avoid getting sucked up by the black hole. Black hole, son, won't you come and end this pish mission? We've got 3 other ones to do after this. Wow, that was quick. And yeah, basically all that happens is that Mickey shakes his hand, runs off, and Sora and the gang pretty much have to chase him to the next level. All while also looking at some footage again of times long since past. That is to say, times yet to happen, but long since past for Sora since things are already in motion.
You absolute idiot. You've managed to fail at everything. And what's more, you foolishly thought you could take my place while I was away. Well, as of now, you're finished. Mark my words, there'll be no place for you when our time comes. Useless imbecile.
But I...
This does make me wonder, especially after this point, why the hell does Pete still work for Maleficent? I know he's basically meant to be like the bumbling doofus bruiser, sort of like, the what are we gonna do next, boss? Kind of henchman, but I don't know, Pete seems cognizant enough to know that when to cut his losses, and comparatively to the organization and everybody else, I don't know, Maleficent doesn't really seem like shit compared to a lot of the other villains in the series, so really I don't know why he puts up with it. Maybe he's just used to being dominated, not in a kinky kind of way, I mean like in a abusive subtext kind of way?
The town shrunk.
Or do you think maybe we got bigger?
Hey, look at the toy cannons. What's he saying? Hey, they're heartless!
Oh my dear god, it is World War II all over again. Finally we have D-Day. Come on, Sora, attack him with your giant Godzilla-sized Keyblade. Yes indeed, flying around, stopping them from destroying a city. By the way, you can also jump on that castle to have the pilots go far away from the city. Apart from that though, there's really not much else to this mission. I used to actually have a lot of trouble with this level back when I first played the game, but I think that might have been down to the fact that I was a bit underleveled at that point. But yeah, I will say that Disney Castle is probably the first difficulty spike. It's mainly because some of the Heartless you fight against here have more defensive capabilities, not particularly with the planes or the Egg Heartless that you fought beforehand. It's mainly 2 specific ones that actually come back in a rather big way with the Cavern of Remembrance. I mean, they get pretty much a bit of a buff, but they're defeated the same way as some of the Heartless you see in this world, and, oh dearie me, it's a bit of a pain in the butt. Pain to the max!
Oh, for crying out loud, she didn't have to go and say that. Okay, I might have messed up every now and then, but I'm a lot more things than useless. Why, when I was starting out, Oh, I miss those good old days. What I wouldn't give to go back in time. What I wouldn't give. Huh? Hey, I think that's my...
And that's pretty much giving the game away if, you know, the voice acting and the modernized monochrome shit wasn't enough of a giveaway. Yes, indeed, the Pete of the future is coming back to mess with the past, and, well, yeah, he's feeling a bit nostalgic for the old days. I can't blame him. Back in my day... Actually, no, we pretty much had all this shit. Back in my day, because I'm not as old as I think, but I'm not as young as I used to be. Oh yeah, and you can pretty much leave the door at any time to go back to the future. Da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Not that future. But, yeah, anyway, you can pretty much enter these in any order you want. It's pretty much the same thing either way. I'm pretty sure you get the cutscenes in the exact same order as well. Fuck, I'm talking over the cutscene. Fuck it. Yeah, these are the enemies I was talking about, or at least one of them. They're not the most annoying one, though, but, yeah. The Hammer Heartless can be a bit of a pain in the butt. I mean, the real Heartless to look out for, I think, are actually going to be coming in the next part, so, yeah, be on the lookout for that. I mean, again, as with each and every area, you do have context-sensitive gimmicks. I mean, in this case, it's pretty much to, well, bounce the balancing beam on this very dangerous construction site, and, yeah. Basically do the same thing you were doing with the Air Swimmer Heartless, where you just spin your Keyblade around. Sure that's not dangerous at all. Yep, just don't say anything, just have fun locking about through this old-timey world, Michael. Whatevers. I say, let's watch a 1930s movie on top of a building. Nothing dangerous about that.
Fascinating. This appears to be a portal to the past.
Yeah, it was the strangest thing.
Stop gawking! And start thinking of a way we can use it to our advantage.
Okay?
Now, perhaps I could give you one more chance to redeem yourself.
Oh, thank you, thank you. You can count on me. So what do I do?
Patience, my dear. What have we here? Well, if it isn't the cornerstone of light. Now we can take the castle from those fools, but we'll have to proceed with the utmost of care.
And that was pretty much how Maleficent came to learn about the Cornerstone of Light, and I suppose how she was able to worm her influence into the, well, Disney Castle. Huh. You know, given my earlier comments in the previous part, that's actually quite an interesting bit of subterfuge. And I suppose how she was able to invade without any of the forces being able to do anything about it from Disney Castle's end. Oh well, it's a good thing we're on the job then, so next time on the Kingdom Hearts 2 commentary, we're gonna put a stop to this, blast from the past by kicking Pete with a blast from the ass. By which I mean kicking his ass. Whatevers. I'm Solidus-Skully. See yous next times. Bye-byes.